guys. They cleared out the backstage area just so that we could sit and chat and this and that. And Getty said to me, he said, you know what, sometimes we get really tired. I mean, come on, let's be real here. We're getting older, okay? But he said, you know why we keep doing it? He said, it isn't about the money we made. It isn't about the gold records we've got. It's about the fans. And he was serious. He was serious. It was about the fans. You want to talk loyalty? Somebody mentioned to me, I thought the band was finished when Neil had those tragedies, losing his wife, losing his daughter. Alex and Getty both said, as long as Neil wants to get his head together and not talk to people, whatever, there will be no rush until he comes back. Now, compare that to other rock bands, you know? One member of The Who drops dead, 3 days later, they get somebody else to do it.
Right.
But in Alex and Getty's case, it was about friendship. Why am I a Rush fan? Because they understand the value of friendship. Because they understand the value of faith. They're not necessarily religious people, but they have deep faith. They have faith in rock and roll. They have faith in the fans. They have faith in the ability of the artist to stand up for what he believes in. These people are not afraid to be different. They're not afraid to be themselves. And that's one of the reasons why I respect them the way I do. And that's one of the reasons why I am honored to say that I do. Also, we're still friends. They told me to keep my remarks brief. It's everything. Questions for the Prime Minister. Questions.
How did you get the album when you were saying when you heard it, you know, and you knew? How did the album come to you?
Once upon a kingdom far away, when I was a music director, they had this thing called Snail Mail. And now I'm not even that old, but yeah, I'm 62. Do I look 62? No. Clean
Wow.
Clean living.
Must be the music you listen to.
It is, absolutely. So Rush keeps you young and cute. So I had gotten a reputation as a music director at other stations for being someone who played new music. So all of the record promoters would send me, by snail mail, because that's what there was in the 70s, they would send me albums that they wanted me to listen to in the hopes that I would play them on the station I was at. And I was always that influential station, so they figured, you know, getting played on one of my stations, that would lead to another station. In Cleveland, because WMMS was considered kind of a breakout market, people from all over the world were sending us records. And this one guy who was a friend of mine named Bob Roper, we're still in touch. Bob Roper was the record promoter from a company called A&M. It's long gone. A&M is long since defunct. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of a guy named Herb Alpert. Yeah, that was his company, okay? And there was A&M of Canada. I still have the t-shirt. It still fits. And Bob Roper sent me this record, and he sent it with a note. He said, A&M of Canada just passed on these guys because Canadian music right now is nothing but mellow jello. It's all Barry Manilow, for God's sake. Okay? And these guys are a rock band. You're in a rock city. He said, I have like nothing to gain here. I'm not going to make a dime off of this. But see, Roper was ethical too. He said, you know what? If I can't do anything for these guys, I can at least give them to somebody who can do something. And so he sent it on to me. I listened, I liked it, etc. But again, like my guys, I always make sure when people ask me, and you'll see it in the Rush Discovery story, I always say by name that I got the record from Bob Roper from A&M of Canada, and that I think it was a tremendously humane gesture on his part because he didn't make a dime. And you know what? Neither did I. I never got finders. I never got anything. Okay, I got my name switched. Okay? But you know what? I got the gratification of knowing that some great music got exposed to the world. And that's what Bob Roper got to. Bob Roper and I talked about this not long after. And I said to him, you know, I'd like to try to get you some publicity. He said, don't worry. He said, please. I did what needed to be done. He said, I love musicians. I'm a former musician myself. And he said, all I wanted to do, he said, I couldn't help him. I just wanted to make sure that somebody did for these guys. And he said, anytime I can, I'm going to continue to do that. So here again, you have a story of people that take friendship seriously. And that's one other thing I want to say. I am honored, I am flattered, I am amazed that all over the world I can go places and people will be nice to me. Now, maybe they're nice to me just because they like Rush. But the point is, everywhere there are Rush fans, there's this community. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's just this community. And it's such a privilege. I spoke in England in 2006. There's pictures of that up on my Facebook page. And to me, it was like, I don't know why they want to fly me in from, but they did. And I talked for about an hour, and I talked about a lot of the same stuff I'm talking about here, except in more expanded detail about the industry and about the things that have changed in broadcasting and this and that. And people came up to me, and all they kept saying was, thank you. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm the one that's grateful. These guys changed my life. Okay? I didn't have a bad life before. Okay? I met some jerks, blah, blah, blah. Who hasn't met some jerks? But it is true. When the Beatles sang, I get by with little help from my friends. And the next line, a lot of people think it's about drugs. I get high with little help from my friends. No, I'm talking about the kind of high where it's like, wow, you just feel like there's nothing more that you need. Good music, good friends, the opportunity to think, the opportunity to be different, and the opportunity to stand up for what you believe in. The last time I was backstage with the guys, it was before the election, and Getty said to me, he said, do you think Obama has a chance? Now again, whether you were a righty or a lefty, it wasn't a righty-lefty question. He had no dog in this fight. He's Canadian. He can't vote in this country, okay? But what he was looking at was, do you think somebody who is that different from the north, do you think that we have come far enough where we're going to judge somebody based on who they are rather than they get a front name, or somebody says, well, you know, they must be this and that. He said, you know, all our lives, people always tried to judge us. People took our lyrics, oh, you know, you're satanic, you're this, you're that. I said, they don't know us. They don't know anything about us. And he said, I would just be real curious to see if we've moved far enough so that finally people can be judged by their achievements. I said, you know, I hope that that is exactly what happens. And I hope that we can continue to communicate. Because one of the great things about being a Rush fan, whether you're a righty, whether you're a lefty,